So I'm really excited. I'm going to start something a little bit new here. I'm going to do a book club type series of videos. And you can follow along, read the book with me, and tell me about your aha moments as you read the book. But the first one that we're going to talk about and read is called Positivity. And this is by the leading positive emotion researcher, Barbara L. Frederickson. Now, positive psychology has a huge element of positive emotions, and what does that mean? But just to kick things off, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the ahas around the difference between toxic positivity and what positive emotions actually is and how it can help us. So when we think about emotions, for me, one of the important things that I've realized through studying all of this is that our emotions occur within this triangle of thoughts and emotions and behaviors. So we have thoughts about the world around us, about what we're experiencing, whether it's good, whether it's bad, how it affects us, and those thoughts lead to emotions. And we're all going to have lots of different kinds of emotions. And how we respond to those emotions then leads to our behavior and what we do. Now, when you think about toxic positivity, and there's a lot of talk about this, and it's something that I struggled with for a long time around positive emotion, is because toxic positivity is all about ignoring and suppressing or covering up the negative emotion for the sake of achievement, for the sake of moving on. So we take that triangle, we have thoughts and we have emotions, something that's difficult happens, we have negative emotions that go along with it, and toxic positivity would say, shut it down, cover up those negative emotions and thoughts, just push them down and move on with a positive behavior. Now, the challenge with that is sometimes those negative emotions are helpful. Sometimes there really is a threat. Sometimes there really is something hard. There really is loss. There really is something that we need to improve on. There really is a disappointment. And so the thoughts that lead to emotions are not necessarily inaccurate with all negative emotions. They can be accurate. And so we need to be able to process and live and understand what those emotions are telling us, so we can respond with our behaviors in a helpful way. But toxic positivity would say, shut it all down, right? We're only going to have positive behaviors, but that's not really sustainable. And it doesn't allow us to see accurately and to really grow and flourish in the things that happen in our lives. So let's look then at what positive emotion can do. Positive emotion doesn't say, shut it all down. Positive emotions is about putting ourselves in a place where we are also able to have positive emotion alongside the negative. So positive emotions include all of the things that help us to learn and to grow and to broaden our minds. So it can be interest, it can be awe, it can be excitement, it can be happiness, it can be joy, it can be just being engaged. There's lots of different types of positive emotions. And each one of those positive emotions does two things. First, it opens our hearts and our minds. It broadens our ability to see. So the research that Barbara Frederickson has done has shown that it allows us to see things more broadly and more globally. So when we have a threat, when we have a negative emotion, it focuses on us on doing a behavior that helps to cope with that circumstance. Positive emotions, on the other hand, broaden our ability to see. And we need both of those things. Sometimes, if a tiger's chasing us, we really need to focus on getting away, on being safe. But a lot of times, we need to be able to broaden our minds to see new possibilities. That's why what I love about positive emotions is also that it can transform us. It can allow us to see new skills, new connections, new understanding, and new possibilities. So when we work on being able to allow ourselves and to cultivate positive emotions in our lives, it opens the possibility for transformation. Whereas toxic positivity really just is all about safety. We think we're going to just ignore all those negative emotions and push them down, but it does not put us in a place where we can be transformed and we can grow. So we have a lot of times where it might feel safer to say, I'm just going to ignore this emotion. I'm going to go towards toxic positivity. I'm going to say things are great. Now, sometimes we might need to not dwell in the negative emotions, right? We do need to have safety and energy and the ability to move forward. But at some point, we need to deal with those thoughts and emotions so that we can move forward. Now, there's a lot of things that we can learn about positive emotions, and I'm excited as we read in this book to have more aha moments. But think about this week. What are the ways that you can find or cultivate positive emotions in your life? Here's an example for me, right? So, one of the things, the most negative emotions that I have happens right when I get up, especially if somebody wakes me up. So, for a lot of years, I started the day with negative emotions because my kids would run in right at 7 o'clock and they would wake me up. So, I would just wake up grumpy. So, I'd wake up and be like, oh, why did you have to get me up? And they would start telling me about all the things they're thinking about and asking me to do things. And my internal thoughts were, I don't want to hear this right now. I'm still tired. Why do you have to do this to me? Produced a lot of negative emotions about the things that they were telling me and changed my behaviors towards them, which in turn produced emotions in them. And you can see the downward spiral that it took us all on, right? So at one point, I really felt like I needed to be able to put myself in a place of seeing them more clearly, of having positive emotion before they woke me up, so that that interaction when they first came in was not the same. So I decided that I was going to wake up, that I was going to have some time for meditation, that I was going to have some time to just plan out my day a little bit and have positive emotions about who I was going to be, and the also having some gratitude practice time so that I could see really what I was thankful for and all the blessings that I had in my life. Now, having that little bit of time in the morning where I cultivated and created some positive emotions has changed the way that I see that interaction when they come in. Now my thoughts tend to be, they walk in and they start to tell me about what went wrong, or they start to tell me about what they're excited about in the day, and I can actually see them instead of having my thoughts dominated by, why are you doing this to me? Why did you wake me up? Right? So I see them, and that produces more positive emotion because I'm able to have a moment with them. I can connect with them, and that connection produces more positive emotion. And then it also helps them, right? And they have an upward spiral of a good start to their day. Now, every morning is not perfect like that, but we have a lot more instances of positive emotion in our morning because I have cultivated some positive emotion for me before they come in. So, was that possible before when they would come in and wake me up? Yeah, I could have chosen to wake up and change my thoughts and change my state of mind and say, oh, I'm so glad to see you in the morning. But it just wasn't that realistic and easy for me, right? My natural response to being woken up was to have negative emotion. So I needed to create time and space for myself to have that positive emotion, to be able to see things more accurately when they came in. You might have other things in your life that are like that. Cultivating positive emotion, again, is not about suppressing the negative emotions, but it's about saying, are there specific things that trigger negative emotion right now where I can create a better space and time to shift that, to shift my experience and to see things differently.